Greetings and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And Pugs Dread.
Namaste. Howdy.
So, gentlemen, how are you doing tonight? We're talking serial killers, true crime. Should be a good time.
Well,
yeah.
Inspired by. They changed some stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely. Which is why this isn't a true crime show. It's just Flesh Wound Horror.
Yeah. Interesting because you're right. We'll get into it. Into it. But inspired by.
Yes.
So
heavily.
Yeah. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Hope all of you in the chat are doing well. Maybe not the most uplifting of films tonight. We're gonna get a little weird here.
Speak for yourself.
It's been a while since we've done double Unearthed reviews. I think our last few have all been focused on Ryan Nicholson, so this will be this will be fun.
Cool.
Well, fun in our definition of fun, I guess.
Flesh Wound Legend. Yeah, this is. Well, we'll get into it.
We'll have that Serbian film Ultimate show at some point as well. I'm sure.
I think this year we're getting the documentary and the extended version also.
Yes. So stay tuned in 2025 for more Flesh Wound shenanigans, extreme disturbing horror shenanigans. So we'll go right into it tonight with our first film, which is from 2005 and director Brett Leonard, who we'll talk about, Feed. And in Feed, intensely grotesque and shocking as hell, Feed is a heavyweight thrill ride through the depths of depravity. A veteran cyber smut investigator, Australian cop Philip Jackson, is no stranger to the dangerous side of sexual fetishes. He may have found his sickest case yet when he discovers a sinister side to an American website devoted to fat, admiring men and obese women called feeders and gainers. Could the man behind it all be force-feeding missing women to death? Tune in and find out. So Feed. Now it's interesting because this movie is celebrating its 20th anniversary.
Oh my God, we're old.
We're all old. I feel like it's funny being 20 years later and looking at the internet technology. Then it's like, is this even that weird anymore?
No.
Until someone attempts
feeders and gainers.
Until someone attempts to turn you into a feeder, then yes, it is. This is highly traumatic for me.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think it's that weird.
I want a sequel where Philip Jackson, the cop, is just like. Now it's like just like stock videos and stepmoms. Then he's got to find something, like he's out of work. He gets cut by Doge. It's just like it's all weird now, dude. Like, the weird is mainstream. I hope Brett Leonard watches this and just that happens. But we kind of kick things off with his character investigating this German cannibal, which is based on Armin Muse.
Yeah, Muse, my bad.
Muse,
St. Louis.
I am German, so I think that's how you say it, Muse.
We know, Dan.
You remind us every chance you get.
Not credited, though, as Armin Muse.
No.
I checked, and I was like, is this supposed to be the literal case? It's just German cannibal. But Armin Muse, for people unaware, famous case where he had cannibalized Barud Brandis, and there was a big legal case where it was like, well, it was
willing participant also. Yes.
So it was like a very complex case because cannibalism isn't something that you get very often. It's still even in 2025, I feel like that's niche. Hopefully.
I don't think you can consent to something that's illegal, though. I think that's where the problem comes.
Well, they got him eventually. He's serving a life sentence, but
and it sucks because he overcooked the meat, and it just ruined it for him. I feel bad for him. Well, to a degree.
I personally, I do not have much sympathy for him, just to clarify.
They're both pretty pathetic, but I just want to say, like, it inspired a bunch of art we like and a bunch of music. Mein Teil from Rammstein.
Rammstein, yeah.
Yeah, so... And maybe even a Deviant Vulture Skull song in the future. Who knows?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Now, it's not about that case, but this kind of sets the scene for the cyber crimes unit. And, he raids the house. He sees a cock frying in a frying pan, which is just, that's kind of...
It's a penis, not a chicken. We'll use the proper term here.
A penis, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a disturbing opening scene because he bursts in, and of course, this guy obviously just had his dick bit off, and he's just like, "It's my body. I want to be eaten." This
reminds me of Bloodbath Eaten. That's also about this case, that trial. We're getting off topic. Sorry.
Back on topic.
Yeah.
So that kind of one of the more disturbing scenes in the movie. And then we kind of segue into our main story, where they kind of discover this as though it's like the first time they've ever heard of it. The feeder gainer thing, which, that's an actual fetish out there. It's, morally questionable because, theoretically at some point that person's gonna die if they don't get out of bed.
Best life.
That's why I won't eat on stream now. Because I told you about the old man who tried to feed me. Got all weird.
No mukbangs for Todd.
No.
Even with cash on the line? How much? How many zeros? How many zeros, Todd? What tier?
Yes, Alex Laughlin, who plays our feeder. If you're unfamiliar with who that is, he went on to become a huge TV star in the new Hawaii Five-0. Which is interesting right now because he just left the business, it seems, after Hawaii Five-0. But you get an early look at him. He is fucking bonkers in this movie. There's a scene where he's like kind of fingering the girl's belly button and he's dancing to Yellow Bikini, I think is the name of the song, where I was like, holy crap, man. I wouldn't think you'd have a mainstream.
Dude, they did Lips Like Sugar. They had a bunch of mainstream songs. Now, they weren't the original versions, which is fine. I think that's probably how they got away with it. But yeah, I popped for Lips Like Sugar. Love that song.
Definitely the cheaper alternative.
Yeah. And it kind of like contrasts like the two relationships, because the cop, Philip, he's got this girlfriend who's like very sexually open. They kind of have an open relationship, and there's some commentary back and forth. It's like, well, is what I'm doing really wrong? I mean, it's consensual. It's, so the movie does have, it's intelligent. Now, it's intelligent in concept. Now, one thing about this movie, there are some dumb fucking character decisions, some unusually dumb character decisions. There's a scene where Michael, the feeder, brings him food, and he, they're gonna have a conversation, and like he eats the food, and it's like, what a dumb bastard.
Yeah,
like, why would you do
back
that?
on that just a little bit, because Hannibal has taught us to respect food. He would never poison food. And him being a feeder, he might be like, well, I don't think he would contaminate this because how up high he holds his kink, which by the end might not really be a kink, but anyway.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Are we spoiling this?
Well, we won't spoil
20 fucking years old. Okay.
All right. Or anything, but yeah. So it's shot. I love the concept. There are some writing issues. I mean, Brett Leonard, if you're unfamiliar, I mean, he's had a lot of great success. He directed Lawnmower Man, which is a movie I grew up with. Love it. Dead Pit, Virtuosity, Hideaway, which a lot of people argue is his best film. But he had some failures too. Highlander, The Source, which kind of officially killed that franchise.
Was that the one with Edge?
No, that's Endgame. I like Endgame a lot.
Okay.
But the Source got a little too wacky with things, and Man Thing, which was kind of not very good. Also with Alex Laughlin, who's in that one as well. This one, though, I do think is probably his darkest film. It is, like I said, very fucked up. There's some gross stuff with food, which if people are unaware, I've joked about this before. I do have a phobia.
I was just saying, how do you deal with this? How did you deal with this?
It's rough. I dealt, but like food touching your skin, you know, like there's a scene where it's like he's got like baked beans on her, and it's like I know that actress
lotion.
Yeah, like I know this actress is in like a fat suit. I know it's not even really touching her skin, but it's like, oh my god, I can't look at this. It's so
they borrowed it from Blade. I don't know. I'm just making sure now.
Yeah, but I enjoy the weirdness of the movie. Even some of the poor writing here and there. I love like the love song montage where he's doing his thing, like feeding her cheeseburgers and fapping while doing it. Like that weirdness contrasted with the somewhat more, I guess, traditional couple. I would have liked that explored more, because the wife of the cop, Philip, they kind of just dropped that, and I wanted her girlfriend. Sorry, girlfriend. Yeah. I would have liked a little more exploration that the director was trying to do of that couple and some of their problems versus like this obviously very, very out there, more alternative arrangement that Deidre and Philip I keep getting the names mixed. Philip or Michael and Deidre, the feeder and gainer. There's some really gross shit in this. Mileage may vary. I know the director said he very much was trying to be humorous at times with some of the situations in this movie. It's the definition of a cult film. I'm really glad that Unearthed put it out, because
definitely feels like a perfect one for Unearthed too.
I concur.
Yeah. 7. It's not 7. It definitely tries to be, but I can't really point to any movie that's exactly like this. There are some other movies that go into the.
You can say it's like 7 mixed with Natural Born Killers a little bit. There's kind of that hyper reality.
Definitely not Natural Born Killers either, but I do.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like they both took a dump and they played with this and it came out awesome.
Some of the hyperkinetic sort of editing on this one may also turn some people off, but what do you guys think of Feed?
I adore this movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, because it is gross, and it's hard to gross me out. And I also don't like kink shaming most of the time. So like I don't even bat an eye if you tell me like you like feeding fat chicks or fat dudes. Go live your life, have a good time. But when you do it to a certain point where it becomes a crime, that's where the issue lies. The movie, front to back, it's cool. It's a good time. It's a breeze. What's the runtime? I forgot. But whatever it is, didn't even feel it. Matt Arnett, hey, look, I got some Sizemore in my store. Some of the parts that Dan was talking about, rubbing food on a big belly and stuff, that is kind of nasty. But if that's your kink, you may get some more enjoyment out of this movie than we do. It's violent when it needs to be, so I appreciate that. It does feel like it belongs in another catalog, so I'm glad it has a new home.
Yeah,
and I'm super stoked for people to get more eyes on this, because it should be bigger. Like I want a Feed shirt.
Speaking of bigger, I like the BBWs, but this is like
I was gonna say
SSSS BBW. It's a little too supersized for me.
Okay, I was gonna say like they're
like you need to be able to stand on your own.
Everyone's got to have a goal.
If you
And when
can't
she hit
make
hers,
a
I was
doggy,
Kudos to Gabby Milgate, who plays Deidre, obviously under all that prosthetics and makeup.
you
Like,
know, yeah, and she still found a way to being an annoying bitch. When she started whining, I'm like, oh god, every woman.
that line where she just goes, I think it's like, "Get out of my house, pussy boy." The movie is funny. The movie is funny. I have, like I said, some criticism with how stupid the cop character is at times, but
I don't. It fits to me because it's brand new to him, so it should be like a deer in the headlight situation. His buddy, I wish we spent more time with him. His partner that he was working with, that guy was hilarious. And when he found those other sites that they talked about in the beginning, a little montage, like this could be a whole series. I'm into that. Let's go get these weirdos.
You're a Law and Order aficionado. Have they ever tackled
SVU?
SVU. Have they ever tackled anything like this?
They have.
Okay, I figured like 50 seasons. You figure they got to get to every scenario.
Half of that, sir. 25 on to 26.
I want to see Ice-T like investigating this case.
I don't think Ice-T was on the episode with the feeders, but he was on the furry episode.
Oh man, does he fight like a turtle?
No.
Does he talk shit on the furries?
He's a little judgmental.
Ice-T.
Yeah. No, but Feed, I love the way the movie looks. I love how nasty it comes off. I think it's a successful movie. I really enjoy this.
Back when movies had colors, yes, it is a very nice looking film.
It still gets grainy, Todd.
So I don't have an issue with grain. I love grain, but
okay. There's some tan stuff you don't like, and there was a lot of that too.
Yeah, but it's not. It's part of it. It's not all of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you guys are also unaware, this also has Aussie film legend Jack Thompson in there, and he's the dad of Patrick Thompson, who plays our cop Philip Jackson. They actually played, I believe, father and son in Man Thing for Brett Leonard as well. But yeah, no, this is like kind of a thriller about modern sexuality and relationships. It's I'm curious how shocking it will be for people 20 years later watching it for the first time. I still feel like it maintains a lot of its grossness.
Yeah.
But
you know what?
Yeah, I'm very curious to get opinions on this.
The actual cyber hacking is more accurate than ever because they were actually typing and moving the mouse. It's not always.
Yeah,
you got to move your mouse, man.
I think this is maybe the first movie I ever heard the term VPN.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the lingo in this. Yeah. But
had he been shooting out of Prague, it would not have been an issue. Prague, shout out. What's up?
We do get like a lot of action too at the end. There's a very long sort of chase and fight montage, and the movie's a breeze. It really is. But it's got its issues. I'm not going to pretend just because it's unique and fucked up that it doesn't have its problems.
Oh, yeah, there's some logic gaps. I get that, but it's
especially the ending that I'm not going to spoil, which I love. But I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? Like, how did we get here?
But I mean, the world that's built, it isn't exactly accurate. It's still out there, so it doesn't. Yeah, it works.
Its own.
So even like the dumb decisions, all that stuff. Kind of just let it go because I mean, the ending kind of justifies some of the other dumb stuff, I think, because it's all kind of, but yeah, not giving anything away.
Yeah. So I would have liked to have seen maybe Brett Leonard doing something else in this world, because I think it would have been interesting. I don't know what he would do. Like I said, 20 years later, I feel like it's hard to shock people the same way, just because people have heard of this stuff. So it's not, something.
It's all over YouTube also, the mukbangs, but it's not as
well, no one's feeding them.
Yeah. But it's a lighter version.
It's attracting the same people, I guess.
Yeah. So,
and this one is on Blu-ray, and it's also streaming on Plex for free if you want to check it out too. So we'll just throw that out there. But yeah, let's rate it.
All right. So I'm a 3.5 on this one. I want to go a little higher, but I can't ignore the problems.
Okay.
Still love it though.
I can. I'm a 4 on this one. I really do have a good time. Yeah. It's still nasty. I think that's what works.
It's fucking gross, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I would love to give it a 5, but I'm not out of my mind. This is a 4.5 for me because like I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it for 20 years, I guess now. It's been a while since I saw it, and this time I was like, oh yeah, this is the shit. So 4.5 out of 5
food while watching it is the question.
I actually ate a Western bacon cheeseburger while I was watching it from Carl's.
There you go. If you can
wait, hold on, then we'll bring this one up there. There you go.
Lynn Trucks, nothing like a greasy burger drippings for Lou. Nah.
That's Dad's nightmare.
Take the wrapper.
Ultimate cheeseburger. Here's the El Diablo.
You just gave away an epic scene in the future Flesh Wound movie, Pugs.
Oh, when you're about to take it,
yes.
Cool.
Just the wrapper, yes. That's going to be a new Maniacs preview. So yeah, check it out. As always, Unearthed Films. It's a stacked disc. As always, they do a great job. I believe everything is ported over from the DVD
the old
as well.
DVD, yeah.
So, if you're a Hawaii 5-0 fan, just picture Alex Laughlin's just doing the most fucked up Hawaii 5-0 episode ever, and that's how you go into this one.
That's what he's doing post Hawaii 5-0. That's how he's living his retirement.
I meant to look up before the show and I forgot. Like, there was something with him because Hawaii 5-0 had like 250 episodes or something. He did that for a long time.
The original one?
No, the remake. He's the star of the remake with Scott Conn.
I just figured out which one since you never mentioned it.
I liked what I saw of it, to be honest, which I usually don't like these reboot shows, but yeah. So, all right. The fucked upness continues.
Oh, I thought we're going to the lighter fare now.
I mean, I guess less weird.
Is it?
Still fucked up.
I'll before we even get in there, color me impressed by that early scene. Trouble with being born, you ain't got nothing on this.
Now I'm going to say this again. Remember, we're not on Patreon.
Yes, we are not. So our next film from there's a couple release dates on this. 2003, 2004. I'm going with 2004 for the US. Evilenko from writer-director David Grieco. And in this film, based on the shocking true story of the former Soviet Union's most notorious serial killer, this riveting, haunting film explores the mind of a true monster, a man who mutilated and devoured more than 50 children. After years, Andrei Evilenko, played by Malcolm McDowell, eluded the obsessive detective Leslev, they're running down credits, and the psychotic profiler Aaron Richter. Spurred on by his rabid fury at the gradual crumbling of his precious Soviet Union, Evilenko is a man who will live, die, and kill as a communist. All right. So the first thing I'll say about this movie, it's based on serial killer Andrei Chikatilo.
Let's go inspired by, since the guy who wrote the book changed the names for reasons.
Yeah, no, I'm getting to it. David Grieco, it's a mixture of Chikatilo's killings, which there's a lot of similar. I mean, it's close. And his book that he wrote, The Communist Who Ate Children. Grieco was a journalist who actually interviewed Chikatilo and shot some of the trial. Or I don't know if he interviewed him, he met him at least. And if you're unfamiliar with the Chikatilo name, he was also known as the Butcher of Rostov, the Red Ripper, I think the Rostov Ripper.
The Red Ripper.
Yeah. He I believe his kill count, it's a little higher in the movie. I believe there was at least 52 confirmed kills, women and kids, between 1978 and 1990 around Russia and Ukraine, later Ukraine. And yeah, so this is a combo of the real crimes and Grieco's book. Pugs, hot tag though, because I know you're very familiar with the case. And is this a first time watch of this movie?
Actually, it is a first time watch.
Okay,
I do remember hearing about it, but I just never like ventured out to get my hands on it. I'm considering that a fuck up because this is cool. This is
contender for Discovery of the Year already.
It's the DS what was that movie? Whatever. Yes, it is, Todd. We'll see how by the end. What's I going with this? Oh yeah, so I do believe that this is in good company with The House That Jack Built, because it's slow, it's methodical, it's on the verge of like some people could consider it boring, but if you just hold tight, it's definitely worth it. There's moments that are super uncomfortable, and I was so impressed with how they handled a child scene. I was like, because the trouble with being born, yeah, that was intense. This one went a little further, and I was like, don't show me anything. Like, I'm all talk when it comes to that. I'll please no. So bravo, McDowell's performance as Evilenko, or the Chikatilo character. Little off. Like, he looks like he might have like some type of Asperger's or something. I don't know where he got that from, because homie's not that weird. Don't get me wrong, he's a fucking weirdo, but he doesn't carry himself like that. So that was a cool little sprinkle of McDowell bringing some acting chops to it. What's the detective's name? His real name?
The actor's name, Martin Sokas, who went on to do a million. I mean, he's still extremely in demand. He's in everything.
That dude rules. JG Michael, did Pugs prefer it to Citizen X, which also Chikatilo? I haven't seen Citizen X. It is on my list. I know. No, I know that one. I actually have the DVD, and I just never did it. It's one of those. But maybe later this year.
There you
go. Yeah, it covers the case pretty well, but they do sprinkle their own bullshit in there, and it just adds to the enjoyment. It's the runtime is about roughly like 2 hours or so.
Just under
2 hours. It feels like it, but I think the journey was worth it. And by the time we get there, I was like, this was a ride. Yeah, very impressive, very cool. Malcolm McDowell always kicks ass, and he's like a child murderer in this. Yeah, come on, give me more. So I fucked up by waiting this long, but I'm glad I'm here.
It's a movie that he talks about a lot towards the later period of his career, although this one's over 20 years old now too. He's still going strong, but yeah, I mean, he's very creepy, very disturbing, has to do some difficult scenes in this. I neglected to say this is an Italian movie, technically shot in Ukraine, obviously with American actor. The score by Angelo Badalamenti. If you're unfamiliar with the name, you've heard the great music in David Lynch's films Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. The very haunting, beautiful music in a really ugly movie. And yeah, it does. JG had mentioned in the chat that this is also just as much about the fall of the Soviet Union as it is this character. And man, the scene with him and Martin's character, where they're both nude, and it's an interrogation, and it gets really, really fucking weird. Like, that was gold. That was gold. I'm surprised with this one in particular that it's not better known. Hopefully this Unearthed 4K gets more eyeballs on it, because it's a damn fine serial killer movie. It really is. And maybe it was because Malcolm was really taking a lot of checks around this time. You get something awesome like a Gangster #1 or something like that. But there was also a lot of schlock, and I honestly think maybe the title didn't do this one any favors. Evilenko just sounds kind of
Then there was
schlocky.
the Russian thing. I was like, I don't know what this is about. I'm cool. So this was my first time also.
Yeah. I wish they didn't name it that, because I do think a lot specifically like, I like Malcolm McDowell, but I'll get to it when I get to it.
I look at I remember looking at the camera like, was this some Russian drama? I
Yeah.
was like, I guess I should have done what I told all my customers to do and flip it over and read the.
I've met Malcolm at many conventions, and I have actually talked to him about the movie, and he does put it over as some of his.
Well, this is funny.
Fucking
JG
awesome
says
performance.
this one too.
JG Michael, I think it may not be as well known because it's too dark for certain people, but too much of a drama for gorehounds. Whoa, nailed it.
Yeah, you don't like. You're not seeing Malcolm like ripping people's intestines out.
Are you not though? Because there's a scene on a train. It's pretty pieces.
Yeah. If you're going in though expecting the visceral like,
and coming from Unearthed, I think people are going to
point.
do expect the gore too. I think that might actually not help it.
Subject matter, it fits, but you could be right because there is an expectation coming from Unearthed.
I feel like it would have been a disservice for this movie because I'm unnerved enough by some of the shit that we do.
Sometimes
see just with Malcolm being a nut, like I didn't want to see him like cutting people's throats and hacking them up. I don't.
Then it's a different movie.
I do want to see that, but it did in this version of the film unnecessary.
Yeah,
that's why again the title,
a different movie.
Yeah, I would have expected with a title like this to see Malcolm ripping spines out of assholes, and I'm like, I'm kind of good. I think this holds up very well. Actually, I always did like this one a lot, and also weird watching it now since they do shoot this movie in Kyiv, which not going to be a whole lot of that for a while, obviously. And
well, at least you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, we won't get into that situation, but wonderful movie, really wonderful movie, and I hope people will take a look at it now. And if you look into the case and watch the actual Chikatilo, Malcolm McDowell said he didn't use that totally as a blueprint, but he does have a very distinct look that Chikatilo does in the footage you see of him.
Yeah, but when he's walking around like he has a stiff arm, like Chikatilo didn't do that. So whatever.
Yeah, and also some very politically incorrect dialogue. So
like what?
There's one line, what are you, a cop, or it's like both, miss, both. When you get to it you'll know. But yeah, no, this is just a fantastic movie. I really do enjoy it a lot. You can see Malcolm McDowell talk about it. Well, on these special features, there is a sit-down conversation with a Ukrainian professor of film that's really good. But he does specifically shout it out as one of his better movies in the Clockwork Orange piece documentary on Malcolm McDowell, where he just talks about his career in general. And he does specifically mention this out of the hundreds of movies he made. So don't let the title dissuade you. There's a lot more going on.
JG Michael, what did you think of the pseudo-hypnosis mesmerism angle? I felt like it was used in a very metaphorical way.
I like that they didn't try and go like full supernatural with that, because I feel like the first time I watched the movie I was like, all right, is this gonna become something very different? I like how they handled it.
I'll co-sign, and mostly because of how it ends up at the last one, because it's easy to tell a kid something and have them believe it, but in a grown person it's a little more, well, some people are stupid too. Whatever.
Yeah.
Handled well.
Yes. So what do you guys rate this one?
Man, I want to give it a 5, but there's just something holding me back just a little bit. So I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5 with a definitely check this one out.
Tad?
Yeah, I'm the same. It's something holding me back too. I can't put my thumb on it. Yeah, 4.5.
All right. I'm gonna go 4.5 as well. Watch it. That opening scene's pretty fucking rough. So you may or may not.
It was
Trigger
rough
warning
before the
everything,
slamming too. Yeah.
The way they shot that, it's not like super graphic, but it's very upsetting. And that's where, again, I feel like if there was just blood and special effects splattered on the screen, it wouldn't have that same emotional impact.
Look, dude, I know sell all kinds of squirmy shit. This one made me move a little bit. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to see that. So that's a fucking massive compliment to them.
Yes. Yeah. So check it out. Great 4K release from Unearthed. I know our live show's a little shorter tonight, but we are going to be heading over to Patreon for a last tournament on the left. And this coming week, we are like flooded with a lot of movies, like ridiculous amount of movies. So we'll be back, I think, to our normal format next week.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
I do want to say Citizen X was brought up earlier, and I just wanted to confirm if anyone does want to check that one out. And I know we're talking about we may do that in the future.
Yeah.
It is streaming on HBO Max.
Okay.
So since it was a HBO original, so that's good. It is on there. So.
Well, shit. After Daredevil, I might watch that today. Let's see.
Double it up. All right, guys. So catch us patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. The link is in the description of all our videos, and it all starts at just $1. We don't do super chat, so we appreciate your support. And on that note, guys, we will see you over there
in just about 10 minutes.
10 minutes later.
All right. Money's on the dresser.
I'll see you in Disneyland.